Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. And boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Hey, yo, understand. These women are boxers. They're athletes. And they want equal pay, just like the men, they deserve it. Just like they're going to get equal attention from content creators, praising them and criticizing them. So y'all just need to buckle up your seatbelts because what's going on with women boxing, it ain't slowing down. Women boxing is on the move. And you know who else is on the move? Claressa Dubois. And on 17 April, there's going to be an opportunity for Alycia Baumgardner to shut shit down and destroy the opponent who faced Dubois like 3 fights ago. Anyway, if Alycia can knock her out, that's going to send a message to the world and to Dubois. It also gives Shadasia Green an opportunity for her to come and do the business against someone that Claressa fought. If she can knock her out, it's going to send a message to the world and to Claressa. And at the end of the day, let me tell you, man, the super fight that's being built here is Baumgardner Dubois, Claressa Shields. And the fact that they're talking about doing the fights on the same card, a main event and co-main, you know what that means? That means someone's talking behind the scenes. Anyway, Claressa Dubois ain't got time for the bullshit.
Yeah, we need to make that fight happen. The biggest fight in women's boxing, I want that fight. I want Alycia. I want her next.
Caroline, congratulations tonight. It's funny as you're speaking about Alycia Baumgardner. She has been on Twitter today, clowning the performance, the fact you didn't get a stoppage, she got a stoppage.
Yeah, she's a drug cheat. I have never in my life failed a drugs test, and it wasn't just a light little weight loss drug, a light little, any of that. It was a serious muscle performance enhancing, developing drug, and you can say what you want, but look at Alycia post failing that drug and pre-failing. She was explosive, she was powerful, she was dangerous. Then what happened? She failed that drug test and she hasn't looked the same since. She can say what she wants. I have never failed a drug test in my life and I never will. I'm not a drug cheat. I don't need drugs. I don't need performance enhancing drugs to be confident in the ring. I stepped into that ring 100% authentically natural. She can't say the same. She cannot say the same. She can say what she wants, but she's failed a drug test for a reason. She is a fucking cheat.
Boy, oh boy. I'm glad y'all MNFers set it off. Used to be hard. Now you done went soft. Claressa Dubois, let me tell y'all. For anyone out there who's thinking Claressa is encouraging Claressa Dubois to act a certain way, I think the social media presence and talking a bit more trash, I definitely do think that Claressa Dubois has been encouraged and influenced, but I think she's just being encouraged and influenced to be who she really is. Because that right there, that shit isn't rehearsed. Like that came from her soul, from her core. You could tell Claressa Dubois, the kind of woman who speaks her mind. But that being said, on 17 April, Alycia Baumgardner, she kind of backed into a corner. You know what I'm saying? And look, let me tell y'all this. I like all the women. Claressa Shields, I don't like her, dislike her. She's interesting. But I respect the fact that, let me say this. It's interesting to see her align. I know why she's aligning with Dubois. I'm going to tell you this, right? In a weird way, I think what we're seeing is something that's being orchestrated behind the scenes, and fans are oblivious to maybe all of this being fight buildup, and where everybody behind the scenes is in on it, and we're not. Now, remember, that's a shot. I'm shooting in the dark right now. But I just think it's odd. Is it me? Is it anyone else out there who thinks it's odd that Claressa and Dubois, all those images of them together, were allowed to be taken, and Claressa was allowed to go in the ring and hoist Dubois up? Is it me? Or does that not seem odd? Does that not seem like it's some kind of fight promotion, something to push controversy, something to get people talking, get the juices flowing? Because maybe this is what they're trying to build towards, is a Claressa versus Shadasia, Dubois versus Alycia. Now, again, that's just me trying to think outside the box to make sense of something there, because it doesn't make sense to have Dubois align with Claressa, even though they can't stop her from being friends with her. And they do have a relationship going back to the amateurs, but it doesn't make sense to me for them to be okay, or at least not have a conversation with Dubois like, hey, need to be, understand you're representing our brand, you're representing our promotional platform. Claressa is someone who has issues with everybody over here. And we prefer that maybe you kind of just throttle back a bit. But hey, what do I know? Now, Alycia Baumgardner, she's backed into the corner right now, you know? She has got to come out here and do something because what's her name is not easing up on her. So Baumgardner's come out and she's posted stuff. You can't deny what you just see. What you see just because you don't like me. I put too much into this to be moved by feelings. Look, Baumgardner, she's in good shape. You know, you can look at her. But a lot of that right there is what happens when genetics and hard work and dedication come together. Okay? So Baumgardner, she's got it. But I'm gonna tell you this. She has got to come out and do something spectacular on 17 April. Now, I know a lot of people out there, you like Baumgardner, right? You look at her, you see the fitness model physique, and you don't like Claressa. Some people don't like Caroline Dubois now. I understand. Some people are all about the hooks and looks, right? That's what y'all feel. That ain't what I feel. Everyone knows Hood Champion don't give a shit. I just like boxing. But I'm going to say this. If Baumgardner ever needed to knock out an opponent, she needs to do it right now. She has got to knock out, what is her name, Bo-Mi Shin. She got to knock her out. Because I know that there was some stuff that happened before with Baumgardner and the test, and I didn't really get all caught up into that because there were other people who were doing it, and it looked, it's like, okay, she tested positive for these two substances, and then shortly thereafter, everything just kind of went away. But I'll say this: the WBC cleared it anyway. I'll say this: for the fact that conversation to be coming up again, it's not gonna go away, folks. If Baumgardner gets in there and doesn't and is not as competitive as Dubois was with this fighter, I am telling you, the boxing streets are gonna light up. The boxing streets are gonna go all in on Baumgardner. So for all of y'all who are caught up in the hooks and looks, y'all better be praying that Alycia gets in there and dominates. Now I'm rooting for Alycia. I'm rooting for Dubois. I want to see them fight, but I know how these internet streets are. They're very, very volatile. You know what I'm saying? They're unforgiving. They don't care. The same people who's out here supporting Baumgardner, they go turn on her. I already know that. So I'm hoping she comes and she knocks out the opponent or at least dominates. That way we can say, okay, Dubois dominated Harper, and then Baumgardner came and she dominated in a competitive fight. Either way, she got a win or a knockout. And now we can really start talking about Baumgardner and Dubois. But I'm telling you, Alycia has an opportunity here to silence some of the haters. Now, I did a video last night where I was talking about, Dubois. And in there I was saying that what Dubois, talking about the PEDs that Alycia tested positive for. And I just want to say this. There is, to me, a neutral person, right? There's a big cloud over all that shit. It happened years ago. She's moved on. Whether she was on PEDs back then or not, the fact is she's been winning. You know what I'm saying? Does she look as explosive? Is she knocking people out cold? I mean, there's a bit of a difference there, but she's still dropping people. She's fighting 3-minute rounds. You know what I'm saying? So again, all I can say is she looks like a great athlete to me. She looks to be in great shape. She looks to have power. She looks to have extreme conditioning. And this is right now. Okay? So I don't really know. But this is where I like to say, if only the fly on the wall could talk. If the fly on the wall could talk, then we'd be in business. But it can't. All we can do is go off of the shit that's being fed to us out here through social media and different outlets. But Alycia's got to do the business. Jake Paul, you can see that they're trying to build up all these women, and I think it's outstanding. And me as a content creator, I'm going to talk about it all, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So if anyone out here don't want to hear that, well, hey, sorry, because Hood Champion ain't changing the way he does business. Everyone deserves to be talked about. But I tell you what, Shadasia Green and Alycia, you can see, man, the spotlight is on them to show up and show out. All they have to do is hit home runs. That's it. Now, Claressa, she says she'll fight Shadasia, but she wants Dubois in there fighting Alycia. She said that's what she told MVP. So, take things with a grain of salt, because again, if only the fly on the wall could talk. But I believe 100% that there have been conversations. I've been saying this. You just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. Look at the movements. Pay attention to Exhibit and Alycia and Asha Taylor, who come into the comments during our lives. Look at what they're saying. They are not they're not just boxing fans. There's two different people hiding underneath fake profiles. Because the shit that they're saying, that's not regular stuff. But for Shadasia getting there with Lanai Daniels, I'll be honest with you. I think Baumgardner and Shadasia, I think they have their hands full. And you may say, why you say that? Because for Alycia, she's fighting someone who knows she can't lose. She's fighting someone who probably learned from her mistakes against Dubois. And she gave Dubois a hell of a fight. So Alycia to me, is in a very difficult fight. I'm just telling y'all that shit right now. Y'all heard it here first. Y'all gonna see. And remember, I'm not just talking because I saw Bo Mi Ri Shin, or I hate to be messing up her name, because I saw how she fought against Dubois. I'm telling you that because she's Korean. And everyone on the channel knows, Hood Champion always talks about them 3 years he lived in Korea. And when he was boxing over there. And I tell some of them sparring stories. Yo, them Koreans, out there in Asia, Korea, Japan, China, they don't mess around. So you better believe, if Alycia beats her, she's gonna earn that victory. Same way she out here laughing at Dubois, talking about people saying Dubois went life and death with Terry Harper. That's not the fight I saw. You know what I'm saying? But for people who talking trash about Dubois against Terry Harper, well, we gonna see. Because I tell you what, if for some reason Alycia gets the win, but struggles a bit, well, I mean, it's only fair for whoever's talking shit about Dubois to put that back on Alycia. You know what I mean? But I'm not an emotional cat. I'm telling you from my experience being over there in a bunch of different gyms, sparring, and on weekends, scheduling sparring on Saturdays, and jumping in a van and driving up to goddamn Busan to boxing gyms and sparring cats. And then at the end of the sparring, we all sit down on those heated floors eating these different sets, fish and chicken and rice and kimchi and all that shit. You know what I mean? Now for Shadasia, look, Sweet Terminator. Got a lot of respect for Shadasia. But Shadasia's in a tough fight. Because again, with Lanai Daniels, she's not going to sit there and make the mistakes she made when she fought against Claressa. I don't think that. I think she's like, shit, I got another opportunity against a big name in women's boxing. And she's going to show up in shape. She's going to show up and try to show out. And Shadasia's going to have to be, in the kind of shape to where she can keep up round 6, 7, 8 if the fight goes that long. But with Shadasia's power and her IQ, her timing, counterpunching ability to punch in between shots, and her mental fortitude, for me, it's kind of hard to go against Shadasia. And one thing about her, she knows what people are talking about. The conditioning. That's the only thing, at least for me, is the conditioning. And let me tell you something. Whenever she hears somebody talk about something that they feel she can improve on, she goes and she works on it. And I hope Shadasia brings that expanded gas tank in the ring. Because right now, Shadasia, she's on the map. She got the spotlight on her. Everybody's rooting for Shadasia. Everybody. And Claressa has a lot to do with that because, you know, a lot of people are rooting against Claressa. But Claressa has her fans too. So let's not get it twisted. Claressa has her fans. But if Shadasia does the business, that's what I need to hear. Claressa don't run. Same way Claressa at the end of her fight with Franchon was like, is Shadasia in here? Is Shadasia in here? Man, please. Shadasia, where's she at? They knew Shadasia wasn't up in there. And for those who are saying, well, Shadasia should have been there. She put duck sauce on the fried rice. Nah. That's the people who are saying that are the people who know nothing about boxing. I'll tell you what, how about you go to a Ku Klux Klan rally? Take your ass over there. Or if you're a boxing fan who happens to be white, go on over there, man, to one of these like the Black Lives Matter rally. You know what I'm saying? See how comfortable you're going to be. See, there's some places you don't go where you don't belong. And I do believe if Shadasia would have been over there in Detroit, I think it would have been a hostile environment and it could have been very uncomfortable because those people were lit. You know you got to be careful when you go into a venue where 80% have on furs and big hats and have on platform shoes with goldfish swimming inside. You know, that's probably not the place you want to go and have a back and forth with the hometown hero. You know what I'm saying? But for Shadasia, I'm going to be looking for the speed, the timing, the conditioning, the power, the defense. I'm going to be looking for everything. Because I don't think Lanai Daniels will come in there and turn this shit into a circus like she did against Claressa and run around and laugh and play and act a fool. I don't think she's going to do that. I think she's going to sit there and show people why she had them regional titles and stuff, you know, and why she did the business as an amateur. See, you do your research on these fighters and you'll be like, whoa, there's something special about them. But the bottom line for Baumgardner, look, she got to prove to the people that Dubois is still a puppy. And what can get her a step closer to that is if she gets in that ring on 17 April and she knocks out the opponent that Dubois had a tough time with. If Baumgardner can do that, all this ped talk, that shit goes out the window. All this scared duck sauce on the fried rice talk, all that shit goes out the window. But what's going to come through the window and going to get talked about is how Dubois said Caroline's a puppy, and she proved it. So Baumgardner is back into a corner, but she has a huge opportunity. She's got to hit a home run. Now for Shadasia, Claressa don't run. Shadasia calling out Claressa. But this is her opportunity. Come out here and blast Lanai Daniels up out the ring. And remember, that's easier said than done. But if she can do that, all the pressure going to be on Claressa. Now, this thing about Claressa and Lauren Price, it's a whole nother video. Nobody wants to hear that. Now, me, I'm probably one of the more neutral, fair guys who talk boxing. Do I want to see that? Yeah, I'll watch it, but that ain't the fight to me. Claressa is just way too big for her. You know what I mean? It just, Claressa is naturally Claressa walks around damn near close to 175, the weight she's been fighting at. She doesn't have to cut weight and do like a lot of other fighters who walk around probably 15, 20 pounds heavier, but cut down to a weight just for that moment in time to make fights. So Claressa cutting down to 160 is probably where she should be at anyway. But she did say she had to move up because she just couldn't get fights at the lower weight classes. Well, anyway, you're coming on down to 160. You're fighting a gold medalist. I mean, on paper, I understand it. I understand it. Gold medalist, undefeated. Looks like Claressa is making some sacrifices to come down in weight. Price is making sacrifices come up. But Claressa is taller, longer, faster. I mean, it's just all bad for Price. All bad for Price. We need to hear about Shadasia, but I'll tell you what. The good news is Claressa has to fight somebody before she fights Price. And this is why I think you see Claressa out there with Dubois, Jake Paul, and Alycia. They're sitting back like, hey, wait, who's the promoter here? I think there's been conversations that's like, hey, promote the fight. Y'all got to remember, Jake Paul's the one who told Claressa, you need to get your profile, help to grow your profile on social media. You need to use social media. And Claressa listened to him because I tell you what, she sure as hell has used social media to grow her profile. Look at Jake Paul. A lot of people didn't like him before he turned to boxing. He turned to boxing. Even more people didn't like him. But look what it did for his profile. Look what it did for him and his bank account. So when I sit back and watch this, I'm a guy who thinks outside the box. And remember, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just having a conversation. I wouldn't be surprised if there were talks behind the scenes like, hey, this is how we need to approach it. You know what I'm saying? We need to get people talking. Give them drama. Give them controversy. And what's more controversial than Claressa Shields and Caroline Dubois coming together? Isn't that odd? That's more odd than twins, Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, in a movie and shit. That's what Claressa and Dubois are. That's a thumbnail idea right there. Twins. And show them in some crazy slacks, button-up shirts and ties, just like the damn movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. But anyway, let's sit back and see how it all plays out. Because all the, man, let me tell you something. All the heat is on Baumgardner. And the thing is, there are some people who are saying, look, do your thing. Don't worry about what anybody's saying. And I'll say this. I think that's how Alycia should be. Try not to get caught up in the drama. Just get in there, stick to the game plan, do the business. You know what I'm saying? Alycia is very marketable. She has it. You can see that they're pushing her. But I'm gonna tell you what, she got to be careful not to feed into, because what happened with the pad, that shit's in the past. Leave it in the past. Don't even respond to that stuff. Don't even post anything, say anything, nothing. Just blanket. Because I did some research last night on it because of the talk, right? I never looked into it really. I heard, but I didn't go seeing what substance or substances there were. But last night I looked at it. And all I cared was to find out is this something the body can naturally produce? And the stuff she tested positive for, no, the body does not naturally produce that. So, can mistakes happen? Can errors happen? I mean, I would say anything's possible, right? But I'll tell y'all this story before I get off, because we about to go fishing, right? I've told this story before. This is a true story. Anybody out here know a hood champion don't be lying about this shit. Because I told this story before. I remember a homegirl of mine, before I retired in my line of business. Whenever you go on like a business trip to, especially like a deployment or a temporary business trip outside the state, or you go on vacation, right? When you return back to the duty station, 9 times out of 10, they would say it was random. That shit wasn't random. They would hit you for a urinalysis, what we call a piss test, right? I had a friend of mine. We were real cool. And she was from Mississippi. She was 6'1", just a big, tall girl. Anyway, she came back from vacation. They gave her a urinalysis, and something happened and it came back positive. And check it out. It came back positive for cocaine. Now, all hell was breaking loose, and she was freaking out because she was like, I don't do drugs. I've never done any drugs. You know what I'm saying? So what ended up happening, they, of course, were looking to try to kick her out. And they were trying to push legal action on her. And she decided that, you know what? I'm not going to use the military lawyers they're going to give me. I'm going to hire my own out of pocket. And that's what she did. And what ended up happening, right? Long story short, they were able to prove negligence on the part of there was a I don't want to use military terminology, but let's just say there was an agency responsible for handling the stuff. There was a young troop over there who, when they took off, they ended up taking off unsealing the sample, and somehow some shit got mixed up. But the bottom line is they were able to prove that there was some kind of negligence, and that young airman foolishly put him on the stand, and they said that they weren't. They can't remember certain things, but they were nervous. But I remember that shit, and I was like, they proved enough negligence to where that shit went away. And they told her, well, if you want to stay in, she ended up getting out. She was done. She was like, hell no, I ain't staying in here. She said more than that. I ain't gonna say what she said, but she was able to prove negligence, and she said she never ever did any drugs. But it was something about opening the damn. You got to leave that shit sealed. But once she opened it and things got mixed up, the young girl didn't know. She couldn't say for sure when they did the testing, which was for my friend. So that was really unfortunate, man. But that being said, I don't know if that's the case with Alycia. I'm just telling you, when I hear this kind of shit, I don't care what no one says. I try to look at my experiences in life and with people, and it's like, can there be a little bit of a doubt? But anything's possible. But again, everyone's going to have an opinion. With me, at this point, I don't really give a shit. I just want to see Alycia Baumgardner fight Dubois. I want to see, what's her name, Shadasia fight Claressa. Like, that's all I want to see. And I don't care about nothing else. Like that, those are the fights we need to see. Anyway, man, a lot of people giving Baumgardner a hard time right now. It's amazing how the internet just flips on you. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing. Like, watch this. According to boxing, aren't you doing exactly this to Sweet Caroline? You called her last performance a joke, as if your last performance was spectacular. All this being you don't want to fight her. She goes, are you dumb or just loud? 12 3-minute rounds, I move the sport, y'all talk, kick rocks. And this person says, side note, proud of you, do your thing, should kill your future. Other note, this B calling you out, don't duck, no, I don't know what wreck means. And she goes, N-word, nobody ducking, main event, 417, tune in. And you see, these people are just on her right now. On her right now, man, you know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Anyway, boy, it's building up, and I can't wait to see what happens. Shadasia, Alycia, I'm going to go live for that one. But, man, I tell you what, it is going to be interesting to see how these fights play out. And I wonder who's going to be the mystery opponent Claressa fights in between Lauren Price. If it's not Shadasia, I'll be honest with you, I don't know who it is. Could be Michaela Mayer, but who knows? Anyway, time for me to hit the road. Keep cool, I'm in the breeze.